Hello, I'm Gary Quinn, and welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Live. Committing to yourself is the most important thing you can do in life. When you take the action to follow through on what you say, you will do in spite of any obstacles create change. Commitment will always support you in moving you forward and fulfilling your life's goals. My guest today is Debbie Meyer, who has always shown commitment, perseverance, courage, and integrity. Debbie is a former competitive swimmer, three-time Olympic gold medalist, and world record holder. She won the 200, 400, and 800-meter freestyle races in the 1968 Mexico Olympics. She became the first swimmer to win 3 individual gold medals in one Olympics. She broke 24 American records and won 19 AAU national championships and won the James E. Sullivan Award. She was inducted into the Swimming Hall of Fame in 1977 and the United States Olympic Hall of Fame in 1986. She is my friend and former teammate who has always been a source of joy and inspiration for me. Don't go away. I'll be right back with Debbie. Welcome, Debbie. It's so great to finally have you on the show.
Oh, Gary, thank you for having me. It's been way too long, buddy.
Excellent. You know, I think with energies throughout life, we always stay connected to people that we feel a certain alliance, like a soul family. And you know, you have created such a amazing, let's say, legacy for your swimming career, because basically you were the first woman to break and win 3, let's say, swimming records in one Olympics. I mean, that in itself is a huge feat. When you look at that and you sort of go back, is there a sense of, oh my God, I really did this?
Every time someone mentions what I did, I'm going, I did that? How did I do that? You know, what made me do that? And I think at the 2008 Olympic trials at our 40-year reunion in Omaha, I turned to Mike Burton, who was our teammate, and I said, you know, I still don't realize what I did. And I don't know if I ever will.
Well, you know, I think when you're an athlete in any sport, your dedication is so focused on the end result, and sometimes you're so in the training mode, you don't really realize what you're doing. But I mean, no other woman other than Katie Ledecky recently has been able to do what you did.
You know, it's really hard to fathom. Thinking about all the miles that we put into training and all the hours, especially in the 60s. And we didn't have the knowledge that we have today regarding getting in shape out of the pool, doing dry land exercises, working on nutrition and things like that. We did not have psychologists that travel with us or masseuses. My mom was my masseuse every night, but we didn't have any of that. So swimming in the 60s was still in the infancy of the sport. And it's just grown by leaps and bounds. And what makes it even worse today is all the social media that goes around. And we didn't have that. We had newspapers, we had television, we had radio interviews, magazines, and that was it. And the Olympics were only, and our sport, especially women's sports, were only in the limelight every 4 years.
Well, that was true. And it's so interesting because the athletes from the 60s and 70s really weren't in that promotional endorsement field. They didn't really exist.
No, it did not.
And you sort of feel cheated.
I was talking to my friend Jane Swaggerty, who was a bronze medalist in the 100 back, and we were talking. I go, you know, they need to pay us retro for what we did back then. And it was more as a joke thing, but we were true amateurs at that time. and didn't get a penny for competing, didn't get a penny after, unless you quit swimming and did endorse a product. But that really didn't occur until the 70s. And I think Jim Palmer was really the one that started it off from the Orioles with his jockey ads and, having kind of starting the whole TV ad other than the Wheaties box and things like that. So, yeah, it was a very pure sport at that time.
And starting, if you go back and you look at the determination or that sense of what was driving Debbie, the swimmer back then, were you consciously aware that I had a goal, or where did your belief start? Because, each athlete has a different set of goals or beliefs.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gary, there's a little story behind it if you have a minute or two and people don't get bored with it. I was born at the Naval Academy, so I've got water in my veins, basically, besides all the chlorine that's there now. But in 1964 for Christmas, I got a stopwatch, and it was from my mom and dad. We got two presents one I loved, one I hated. The one I hated is we were moving from New Jersey to Sacramento. And, cross country for a 12-year-old was really, really, really rough. And my dad had been transferred, so there we went. And the other gift was a stopwatch. And on the back of the stopwatch, it said Debbie Meyer, December 25th, 1964. And underneath in quotation marks, it said Mexico City, 1968.
Wow.
Granted, I was a summer league swimmer. I swam at Wedgwood Swim Club in Haddonfield, New Jersey in the summer. In the winter for 3 months, I swam at the Camden Y because Campbell Soup was right there in Camden. So, I couldn't even break 30 seconds in a 50 free. And you know how big that is. And anyone our age and even young kids today, 30 seconds is big for a 50 freestyle. So we moved to Sacramento. We joined Arden Hills where we swam together, and I started swimming with Sherm, and I just kept setting little goals. Teammate Susie Peterson was the fastest 10 and under at that time, and she had broken a minute for the 100 freestyle as a 10-year-old.
Wow.
So, me being the minnow in the pond and, one of the others, I just kept setting little goals. I wanted to be on a relay team with Susie. And then, oh, wow, I'm on a relay team. I want to beat Susie. I want to do this. I want to do that. The first time I swam a 1650, which is 66 laps of a 25-yard pool, we call it the mile, yet it's not quite a mile in yards. I did all but one flip turn because flip turns were just coming into play at that time. And Sherm goes, "You're a distance swimmer." So from that day on.
Wow.
And what kept me driving, I wanted to beat the boys. Mike Burton, who was world record holder and Olympic gold medalist as well in distance, I wanted to stay up with Mike all the time. And as you recall, we were kind of best friends, and we were always going to meet together and always competed next to each other, swam in the same lanes because I tried to ride his heels all the time or swam next to him. When he'd lap me, I'd try and stay up with him and not let him lap me and things like this. So, I had that drive just to do the best I could.
And people should know that on our team, our coach, Sherm Shavor, who was a legend, he was churning out Olympic athletes, not only you, Mike Burton, Mark Spitz, Jeff Float. It was just part of our thought process because we saw, wow, if they can do it, we can do it. So I think, especially kids these days really need role models. And when you speak to, let's say, young swimmers or even people who are already Olympic, let's say, caliber, what is the most important thing or experience that you share with them?
You need to have fun in what you do. It can't be a chore. You need to enjoy it. I was talking yesterday to a gal who said, "Oh, my son, I wish he had kept swimming. He was like 6'3", had the swimmer's body, but wanted to play water polo and stuck with water polo. I wished he had swum." And you know, when you swim, you have to have that right mindset when you do it, because swimming up and down, looking at a black line for 2 hours straight is really tough. And it takes a certain type of person, but you have to enjoy it. You have to have fun. You have to be able to bounce back from adversity, be able to take a not so good situation, turn it around, and move forward from that situation. And that's carried with me throughout life. When I got divorced from Doug, I had also lost my job at Sac State. They cut the swim program, so I wasn't coaching anymore. And I had 2 young kids. So I was an unemployed single mom with 2 kids, no place to live. So I moved back in with my folks. I found a swim school for sale. I got a hold of a few friends. They believed in what I was doing. I got a hold of Tom Sullivan, and he told me how to go ahead and write a pro forma and do all this, what I needed to do to get a loan. I ended up getting a loan. I bought a swim school, and turning that key that first day, walking in, was the best thing in my life. And that's how I met my husband 29 years ago.
Wow. But I think, look at how the determination, and I think that that has helped me in everything I do. I keep reinventing myself and doing all these things.
You have, believe me.
Yeah, people go, "What do you do?" I still just have fun. I love people. I love to create inspiring wisdom for people. And I think that we all have to do that at the end of the day, because really all there is love in life. Mm-hmm. And you loved your life, even though it looked like, you know, everything was not working. But look how the determination of swimming all those laps and really just never giving up gave you the determination to buy the swim school, to almost start all over again. And in every moment, I always say there's a new beginning. So
exactly. When
in
people
itself,
ask me about it, I go, you know, you learn desire, determination, dedication. That's what makes you successful. You don't have to be the best in the world to be successful. You just have to be a little bit better than what you were before. And what I learned in swimming, I took to getting that swim school, opening it, and keeping it for 25 plus years. So it made a huge impact on my life. Sports makes a huge impact. You learn so much about yourself. You learn about the dedication. You learn about goal setting. You learn about time management. You learn about adversity. You learn how to get along with people, to make it a win-win situation all the way around.
And you know, I think winning that Sullivan Award that you won, I mean, the people who have won it, I mean, Mark Spitz, Simone Biles, you just really see that the caliber of people, you were at the pinnacle of that caliber at that time. But I think that people need to know that the recognition of an achievement is so great. And that was what I always admired about you, Debbie. You always were, you just, the ever-ready bunny. You just kept going, you know? And I think we all had to do that. And, you know, it's really something that I think that in life, we all have a journey, we all have a lesson. And no matter what is in our lesson, we have to enjoy the moment and the people that we love and cherish and that we've connected to in our lives. And I mean, even your kids, being a mom, I mean, that in itself is such hard work. That is like going to the Olympics and getting 3 gold medals.
With my kids, yes, it is.
You know, what was your biggest challenge, Debbie? If I said growing up through this whole, let's say, last 30 years, what has been the biggest challenge that you broke through or that you recognized?
Oh my gosh, Gary. Thanks for putting me on the spot. I really appreciate that. Biggest challenge. Oh my gosh. Um, you know, I think it's been in the last 6 years not being able to pick up the phone. I'm gonna cry. Actually, a little bit longer than that, since 1992. Not pick up the phone, talk to Sherm, talk to my mom and dad. That's the hardest. Not going, Mom, how do I do this? How can I get Carly to listen to me? Things like that. I think that's the biggest challenge, because the other stuff I will find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But this I can't find a way to make it.
Well, I think as we wisdom comes through age, and I think that when
I got that,
when we
not the wisdom, the age.
when we forgive ourselves of anything that we didn't do or we did do, I think that's how we move forward in life. And, everything in life is subjective on how we look at things. And I think we have to look at life as a joy and an experience. And I remember things we used to do to you when I was in high school. I remember me and Sandy Johnson would come and bring you banana peels or bananas or fruit or something. I can't remember crazy things we would do.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I never forgot
Or
that.
Maggie would short sheet the beds and I'd chaperone the trips. Oh my gosh.
But that was fun. That was, we were kids.
It made us laugh, and it made us have fun, and it makes us remember the really good times.
Exactly.
We will remember the bad times, but as you said, you learn, and it's wisdom, and it's growing. One thing, when you were talking about how did I do this? How did I become successful? What drove me to do it? My dad was a Marine, and just like an Olympian, once an Olympian, always an Olympian, never former, never past. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And that's how we were raised. So that's where my dedication came from. That's where my work ethic came from. And as you know, if you didn't do what Sherm said and you saw the stopwatch bounce off the ground,
exactly.
It was going to be a hard day.
Exactly. Oh my God.
But a lot of my work ethic, I know, came from my dad.
Wow. What does love mean to you?
Joy, happiness, hard times as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How do you deal with pressure? I know you play golf now. Is that a stress relief, or do you still swim?
You know what? I live in an active 55 and over. Fortunately, our street is mostly our ages. I turned 70 in a couple months. Wow. So I want to swim at our facility, but Harry, they keep the pool at 86 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
It's so
Too
hard
hot.
to swim. Very. So there is an outdoor pool, but they don't open it until April 1st. And unfortunately, it's only 20 yards long. But that brings back a lot of memories. When I swam at the Camden Y, it was a 4-lane, 20-yard pool. So this is a 3-lane, 20-yard pool. So as soon as that happens, opens up, I'm going to get back in. And I enjoy swimming still. I usually swim just about a mile, and it's just, counting laps. And some days if I feel like going more, I do. And other days, if I just feel like kicking, I'll just kick. But I love golf. I'm not good at it. I've got like a 18.9 handicap. I want to get it down. I just bought some new clubs after 25 years, so maybe it'll get better. But I also ski, and we do a lot of mountain biking and hiking.
Well, I think that's what keeps you fit. I think exercise is the best thing for your mind.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, even to this day, I exercise every day. I don't swim again. I haven't swum, but I do everything from core fitness, yoga, boxing, hiking. I think it's just mentally for the soul, it balances us because we're so used to that adrenaline of exercise.
And the endomorphs just keep coming, and that's what keeps us going. And that's usually once an athlete, always an athlete.
And I noticed, if people don't know, you were playing golf with Michael Phelps. The
Actually, I was carrying the leaderboard. So, and it was a lot of fun at the Waste Management. Jane and I volunteered there and at the AT&T. So, you know, it's a fun 2 weeks, and it was great to see Michael. I hadn't seen him since an ISL championship in Vegas in 20. So it was nice to see him again. And then he puts on a tournament every year. So I was talking to Nicole, his wife, and so I said, hey, I really want to play. And she goes, oh, we'll get in touch with you. So, you know, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Excellent. So what's on the bucket list for Debbie?
To see Northern Lights.
Okay.
To go down the Colorado River, take a raft ride for a day. We did a 6-week road camping trip through the Southwest this past year. I want to go to Europe and ski again. Bill wants to go to New Zealand and ski. So, you know, we want to do all of this, and I want to be able to watch the grandkids grow up. My oldest is 14, and hard to believe she'll be a freshman next year.
Wow.
And we just had a third grandson that is 2 months old now.
Wow. Yeah. It's incredible. Well, you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Gary. So do you.
I'll
let my plastic surgeon know. See this wrinkle, this. Oh, I guess I should take care of it.
No, it's all good, Deb. Well, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. It's so great to have this reunion, really.
Yes.
And I wish
better in person.
Absolutely. And we'll do that this year for sure. But I want to wish you a great week, year, and continue to do and spread the word about inspiring people. And you are it.
Well, thank you, Gary. It's always been fun talking to you, catching up with you on social media. And I do look forward to seeing you within the next month or so. And we will celebrate this birthday coming up.
Absolutely.
Yours, not mine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of Ready, Set, Live. Until next time, be well.